Now, you just saw I anchored this base plate and I set it nice and flat and I bedded it down into the ground nice and firm, snugged those anchors up tight. It's not going anywhere. So the next thing I want to do is pick the right tree, and I think this is where a lot of people kind of get into a pinch. They're picking trees that aren't working as well. Now, is it science? No. Do you have to be exact? No. I think you should experiment. I've had recent luck with basswood. Never put a basswood in before. Had a basswood. Apparently they like them. They like to eat the leaves off. They like to start chewing on the branches. Well, now we're depositing scent, whether it be nasal or saliva. So another good way to get them going. So I use softwood, I use hardwood. I recently tried some basswood. But what I want to show you is we've got this one anchored. I'm literally going to go pick my stick out. We use real trees. Now, this is in a little plot, little kill plot. It's surrounded by popple slashings. So there's a ton of them I can use. Now, I looked before we started this. I'm just going to bring you with me. I'm going to set this one up because I want you to see exactly how I do it to ensure I'm not going to have any issues with it leaning and tipping. So I'm going to try this one. It's actually a branch off of this popple. So let me put this down. Bear with me here. Just going to trim it right off. So I take this out. Now, is that all I need to do and stick it in? No, because you'll have issues. So we have part of the way to make these things work most effectively is to set them up right. So if you're anchoring your base plate, that's going to help you. If you're putting your trees in right, that's going to help you. I'm going to tip this up a little bit so you can see. Now, I went with a popple slashing, probably 12 feet tall. So everyone thinks, wow, that's a great little licking branch, licking tree to put in there, licking stick to put in there. It's too big. I don't need it. In the wild, the deer use very little trees for licking, natural licking sticks. So we don't need, I have some of the best luck I've had is not much bigger than the diameter of my finger. This right here probably would work for a licking stick. But what I'm going to do is, because this is long and a lot of people want to go put a big one in, this is not this isn't to generate rubs and scrapes, not yet. It will in the fall, but we're just trying to get a communal licking stick. So first thing I'm going to do is test my diameter. I'm going to tip this down so you can see. Diameter is going to be pretty good. So that's about perfect. So I can tighten these up. I don't need them filling out the entire diameter of the spring. Now you can see it's heavy. It's top heavy to one side. See how it's already bending over? So obviously can't have that. So let me move this back. Now here's where you start trimming. So it's just like finding that perfect Christmas tree. You got to find that perfect licking stick. So what I'm going to do is anything above my height level, I'm going to say 5 feet. Anything above 5 feet is wasted. Deer aren't going to use it. So right about here, I'm getting rid of it. They're not going to get up to it. They're not going to use it, so I don't need it because it really messes with my balance. Now, still too heavy. See how it's getting better though? Let me back this up and I'll show you the whole process. It's getting better, but it's still leaning. So now, I don't need this. Get rid of that. Stand this back up. This I don't need. Get rid of that. This I don't need. Get rid of that. Getting better, starting to stand up even straighter. I don't know that they have to be straight. A lot of weight right here, don't need that. Now we're getting straight. Now, height-wise, I'm going to get rid of this. This is on the edge. That little tree I just cut out probably would have made a pretty good licking stick. Now, that's about as tall as I need it to be. You can see it's about my height. I'm like 6'2", so it's a little below me. But it's still leaning. So now what I want to do is come back down here, loosen these up, and just fine tune it. So it's got some curve to it. It's got a little bit of bend to it. Which way am I going to be able to put it to have it stand the straightest? Probably it's actually because the tree is crooked. Let me do this. Off with that weight. Off with that weight. That's not awful right there. That's about there. So now, the other thing you can do is you can tighten these, and these will make adjustments. So if I need it to lean one way or the other, I can back these screws up and tighten this one in. And it essentially is just positioning it on the bottom to pivot. Now, we went from a tree that was really leaning to that. And that's not bad. Some of the best licking sticks I have that are some that I found in the wild, not branches or trees, and there's no leaves on them and there's basically no limbs off of them. They're just sticks. Eventually the deer will probably turn this into that. So a little bit of a tip on how you balance this thing out. Don't waste height. You don't need a lot of height. Get it to be 5 feet and below. Get a couple branches. Get a couple of these leaves that are going to hold scent. That's why I like having leaves on them. It holds scent to start it at least. So there you go with balancing out. It's an important part of getting this thing to work right so that it's not leaning and so that it's not bouncing all around in the wind. The more straight it is, the more vertical it is when you start out, the less shifting you're going to have in the wind. You can see the base, it's windy out right now, and you can see that the leaves are moving, but the stick isn't. Now you're not tripping your camera. So balance your tree out, it's real important.